Well, Jessica Biel, you're nominated for an Emmy for your performance in The Sinner. You've been working in TV for quite a while. Your big break 20 years ago in Seventh Heaven. What's it like getting that recognition from the rest of the TV community for that Emmy nomination?
Honestly, it's like beyond wildest dreams kind of thing, because like you said, I've been working in this business for quite a long time, and you think those kinds of things happen to other people. So it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. I don't know how else to say it, especially because it's connected to this project that I've been a part of from the very beginning, from when we were just looking at this book and looking at this character, and then hiring our writer, creator, and then he writes the script, and then reading the notes, and then we're pitching, and we USA, and then casting, and the whole thing was just, it's just really close to my heart, and something that I feel super proud of. So to be recognized by the community, it's just nothing better.
And what was it like, the morning of the nominations announcement? Had you been waiting for it? Did it come as a surprise to you when it came?
Well, of course it's coming, that they're going to read these names. And of course, if anyone tells you that they're not sitting just with anticipation waiting, they're lying. Because it's not about awards. What we don't do it for awards. You do it for the doing of it. But it's just amazing when people like it. It's that simple, I think. So I was actually in Europe the day of the announcement. I was in Amsterdam. So at this point, it was like 5 p.m. I had all day to just wait and wait and wait to see, was this going to happen? And I got this call from my publicist, and I'm in the car with my kid, and my kid's iPad is malfunctioning. Do you have kids?
No.
When your kid's iPad malfunctions, it's the worst. It's like the world is crumbling, So I'm dealing with the iPad, and I'm like, oh my God, amazing. Okay, iPad. It was like there wasn't really a moment to like really absorb it. And I finally got into bed later that night, and then I sat alone in my hotel room, and I just had a fabulous glass of champagne by myself, and it was the best way to celebrate the whole thing. It was amazing.
And as you mentioned, you're a producer on the project. You were, spearheaded this thing from the very beginning. Does that make a nomination all the more special, because not only did you pour your heart into this role that you played on screen, but also into this project that you really kind of launched?
Yes, 100%. Because of the involvement, because of, my ability to have a voice in a lot of these decisions that normally when you're just an actor, you don't have a voice in the casting, and you don't have a voice with the writers. Not really, not from an arc standpoint or a story point. From your character, yes, for sure you have that kind of experience, but to be involved in the location scouts and even speaking to my directors and talking about maybe how to carve a performance for one of the other actors, sitting behind the camera and really feeling like that is a place, that's my place too. I get to be there. I don't feel like I'm, overstepping any bounds. It's so phenomenal. It's so phenomenal. I mean, this project truly has all my blood, sweat, and tears, and all of our creative teams and our crew and everybody. And so yes, it's just sweet. It's just sweet.
And do you feel now that you've had this experience producing this project and starring in it, that you're now like spoiled for projects, in the sense that you can tackle this, you can tackle anything, but also you can make these things happen for yourself and really generate these opportunities?
Yes, I guess I do feel a little bit spoiled, because it's been such an amazing partnership, and I think if we didn't have a partner like USA, it would have been a different thing. If they didn't say to us, push the envelope, go for it, bring us something that you think is too far, which is what they said, and we couldn't believe it. We're sitting here on these phone calls going, did you hear that? I heard that, right? I didn't just make that up. So we have this amazing partner who wants to push the boundaries of what they're doing content-wise, and wants to push us creatively. and then actually, comes back and says, you know what, this is too far, and here's why, and they're right. And that's an amazing partner, someone who we trust creatively and who gives us the leeway and the ability to really make choices that we think are integral for the characters and for the story. So that I feel like I've been spoiled by having this amazing partner. But it also has shown to me very much that now our business, you have to take your career in your own hands. Yes, you need your support. Yes, you need all the people that help you and introduce you to the right people and all of these things. Because a lot of this is like a little bit of a lightning in a bottle thing. There's like a little fairy dust kind of sprinkled over things, or it's just not. But you have to step forward and grab your career by the horns and say, all right, this is what we're doing, and I'm going to find something that inspires me, and I'm going to fight for it. And then when you have that kind of engagement with it, the energy is different as well, and it matters in a different way. So it's been a great learning experience in terms of that, and I will never stop fighting and driving for my own career, and I feel like this has given me a lot of confidence in that area.
And the interesting thing about the character you play, Coretta Nettie, is the unique conceit of the series is that you know who done it from the very beginning, but you don't know why done it.
Right.
And in the case of Korra, she doesn't even really understand at first why she committed this murder in this first episode. The cliche of actor is what's my motivation? How do you play a character
Right.
who literally doesn't even know her own motivation in many big ways?
Right. It's a really good question. This performance was not possible without our writer, Derek Simons, my director, Antonio Campos, and I, the three of us, every day, and all the other directors that we were working with as well. But the first 3 episodes to really solidify who this woman is and how she responds and how she reacts and set her up. Without us sort of checking each other every day and walking the line of all the things we're talking about. What does she remember? Is she lying right now? When she's not lying? When she's telling the truth, but it's actually not a truth that's the truth, but she doesn't know that. But she's protecting herself. Now she's just being spiteful, and now she's had it, or whatever it is. Now she's being tender because she wants something. She's manipulating. This performance is very convoluted and complicated to try to find the path and braid all of the levels in. And I mean, without all of these people around me, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did. What was the last part of the question? I'm completely blanking.
Oh no, it was just a character who doesn't know her own motivation.
Right. So whenever we got lost from that, or anytime I felt lost, the one motivation that we know, that I knew that she was always trying to do, is she was just trying to protect everybody and herself from the past. So this kind of survival mentality. So whenever I didn't know what the motivation was, I went back to that. I don't care what the truth is, I don't care what's going on, you're not going to hear about it. And I'm going to redirect, and I'm going to be strange, or be emotional, or manipulate you, or make you feel bad for me, or whatever I'm doing, but you are not going to hear what has happened to me. I will never tell you. It's like that survival kind of thing. And so that is that was the motivation behind the no motivation of that character. We always went back to that.
And eventually, though, of course, we do learn what happened to her, and she learns what happened to her in the 7th episode of your season. All the secrets come out. It's a big flashback episode. It's some of the most intense material of your season. What was it like playing those flashback scenes, since they're so traumatic for her in the moment and in the future?
Well, ironically, some of the flashback stuff was kind of freeing, because it was the stuff leading up to the very end of the end sequence of the 7th episode. It was kind of lighter somehow, right? Because she hadn't experienced that major trauma yet, and then the trauma that happened after those kids sort of left that underground kind of room. all goes down. So it felt kind of emotionally easier for a minute. And then, of course, we get to the sequence where it just absolutely all falls apart. It's very intense playing those kinds of sequences and those scenes. It also feels a little out of body, and it feels like I look back and it doesn't, even on the day, it didn't feel very tangible. You know, you just kind of like, things are happening and you're doing this scene and you kind of, somebody says print and you go, wait, what did I just do? And that's kind of the space you want to be in, right? That mindset of you kind of disappear into it, and it kind of takes you over instead of you sort of driving the train on that.
And is there a way that you decompress between scenes? You know, going from intensity to intensity to intensity for a lot of the series. Like, how do you get out of that? Like, go home at the end of the day and just kind of be back to Jessica.
Right. Well, you know, this one I found was very easy to do that because it was such an emotional drain on a daily basis all day long. You know, it wasn't like, oh, a nice easy scene and then a really hard scene. It was just like hard scene, hard scene, hard scene, hard scene all day long. That by the time we were done, I couldn't wait to get it off. I couldn't wait just to, you know, get in the car and do a crossword, look at a magazine, read my book. I mean, I pretty much passed out in the car on the drive on the way home because of the output was so extreme. But I have a kid at home. I don't have a choice. He doesn't understand what I'm doing at work. He doesn't understand the mindset that I'm in. Like, he's gonna be up at 6:30, he's gonna want breakfast, and he's gonna want to play. So you have to shake it. You just have to shake it off and go home and be mom.
And season 2 is currently airing. It just started airing a couple of weeks ago. You're still an executive producer on the series, even though, you know, at least for what we've seen so far, Coretta Nettie is not a part of this season. Like, how closely involved were you in developing the second season and really shaping it as much as the first season?
Yeah, so we were pretty heavily involved again in second season. A little bit more removed because I wasn't on a regular basis dealing with my particular character and my arc and, you know, does it make sense and how do we do it, and I wasn't on set every day all day long, so that was a bit different. But, you know, we have been remotely supporting Derek, our writer-creator, and all of our writers, looking at the drafts, looking at the, you know, the roughs, what is it going to be, how do we feel about it, giving notes, responding to the casting, responding to the post and the cuts and all of that kind of thing. So very heavily involved as much as possible, but, you know, from afar, which is totally different. It's hard. It's hard to be far away, especially for a project like this that's just, you know, so close to my heart. But that's what I'm learning, that's what you do as a producer, is you hire the people that know what they're doing, and you let them do it. And you have to step back, and it's just the process.
Do you ever think of, you know, what's going on with Coretta Nettie now? Do you think you'd ever revisit that character in the future if the opportunity came, or do you feel like the door is kind of closed on that particular story, that you've kind of put that away?
It's a good question. I always like to leave it open just a little bit, in my mind at least, like, oh, Korra, she could come back, right? You know, somehow, some way. Maybe that's my ego talking. I don't know. I feel very fondly for her in some strange way. But realistically, I don't know. I feel like we really satisfied that storyline. I feel like we're not sure where Ambrose and Korra go after this. We exhausted a lot of ideas for season 2. We really took a look at it and said, you know, does this make sense? Should Korra come back? How does the season look if she comes back? And it felt to us in the creative team that it didn't do the show justice. It was changing the show. What was going to happen? I mean, she was going to be a sidekick. We couldn't figure it out in a way that made any sense, and we really felt strongly about moving Ambrose forward and really giving him the sort of foundation, letting him be the foundation of the show, and then watching him unpeel, letting us look into his brain and his psychological trauma, because we really satisfied her story. So we felt creatively that this was the right way to go to maintain the integrity of the show, to maintain the language and really the why done it again. Even though I always keep it open, just in the back of my brain, that maybe if we find an amazing idea, that it could be possible.
Is there anything else that, as a producer or as an actor that or both, that you're working on that you're excited about now, coming after this experience and this nomination?
I mean, I have tons of things that we're always developing kind of behind the scenes. Nothing that I can actually talk about. It's all living in lawyer land right now, which is a good thing because it's moving forward. But yes, we have some television ideas that we're developing, a couple film ideas that we're developing, actually thinking about some podcast ideas. So, really, really feeling excited about some opportunities coming after this show.
Well, congratulations on that Emmy nomination, and best of luck next month when the awards come around. And thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you so much. It's been great. Appreciate it.